From a billionaire heiress stepping into the spotlight to former idols and a top choreographer joining forces, this is how ALLDAY PROJECT came together and what they went through to become a group. Let's get into Jo Woochan's story, which might be familiar to those who followed the K-hip-hop or trainee scene for a while. Woochan, born in 2005, made headlines as the youngest contestant on Show Me the Money 6 while still with Cube Entertainment. He didn't win, but making it to the semi-finals at his age was enough to get people talking. After the show, he briefly joined a special project group called OG School Project with Park Hyunjin and Akillo, but his time with Cube Entertainment didn't last much longer. Eventually, he left and started doing music on his own. Later, he appeared as part of HYBE's pre-debut team Trainee, but that project never took off, and Woochan's name faded from the scene for a while. Fast forward to today, he's officially back with ALLDAY PROJECT, but how exactly did that happen? Turns out, Woochan's interest in music and dance started way back in elementary school. He got so into it that he even ended up performing at the Sochi Olympics, which took him to Russia for 10 days. There, he met a choreographer who inspired him, and after coming back to Korea, he enrolled at that choreographer's academy. His love for dance naturally led him to hip-hop, and soon he was hooked on rap too. He also shared a funny story from school. Another student had a pass necklace from Choiza, and seeing that made Woochan believe he could chase music seriously as well. That's how the trainee life started for him. He tried the idol path, but as we know, that didn't exactly go as planned. Still, Woochan considers ALLDAY PROJECT a fresh start, and he's excited to finally show what he's all about. After Woochan and Youngseo, one of the most recognizable names among K-pop fans was Bailey Sok. Her journey didn't just start with K-pop though. Bailey grew up surrounded by music, dance, and art. Her sisters were already involved in dance, so naturally she followed in their footsteps starting at just 2.5 years old. Early on, she trained in styles like jazz, ballet, and tap, and by the time she was 5, she was already in Los Angeles attending summer programs with big-name choreographers like Matt Stefanina. Bailey's skills developed fast. By 6, she was competing, and before long, she was known in dance circles beyond her hometown. She eventually shifted her focus to hip-hop at 10, which opened more doors. Some might remember her from America's Got Talent, where she performed with the all-girl group Buns N' Roses, or from World of Dance Season 4, where she teamed up with Kita the Great. But her K-pop connection came unexpectedly. She was asked to choreograph for a girl group, even though until then, she had only ever created routines for herself. It was a new challenge, but it sparked something in her. More requests followed, and with each project, her love for K-pop deepened. Eventually, it wasn't enough to just choreograph for idols as Bailey started imagining herself on stage, performing the routines instead of staying behind the scenes. That's when the idea of becoming the artist herself started to feel real. She said, "And then I ended up here taking it on, and now I really feel like it's a full circle moment." Given her background working with big names from YG and the Black Label like Lisa and Taeyong, it wasn't exactly shocking when Bailey ended up signing with them. But when her first performances finally dropped, the reaction wasn't what people expected. A lot of fans were underwhelmed, especially since Bailey had built this reputation as a powerhouse dancer. But on stage, some felt she completely faded into the group. One person even said that without those center moments, you'd barely notice she was there. That being said, there's another side to this. Some believe Bailey's intentionally holding back for now, letting Annie and Taywan, who haven't been idols before, settle into the spotlight. The theory is, once the group feels more established, she would bring out the level of performance she's actually known for. But for now, maybe she's playing it safe. What do you think? Out of everyone in the group, it looks like Youngseo was the only one who actually went through the old school audition process. As you may know, after leaving ILLIT before the group even debuted, fans were left wondering where she'd pop up next. Every time a new group surfaced, people speculated she might be part of it. She even opened up about all of this in the ALLDAY PROJECT documentary. Youngseo explained that after leaving HYBE, she tried to lay low for a while, but deep down, she had always been a fan of the Black Label style and wanted to create that kind of music herself. But first, she had to actually get into the company. The thing is, after leaving ILLIT, she admitted she started questioning whether she was too old to debut again, which knocked her confidence a bit. Still, she didn't let that stop her. She sent in her own audition videos, showing off her vocals and dance skills, and even went through a camera test before they decided to bring her on board. However, Youngseo had no idea she was signing up for a co-ed group. All the company told her was that it wasn't going to be a girl group, and that's pretty much where the information stopped because of all the confidentiality rules in place. The whole situation left her completely confused. At one point, she even wondered if they were planning to turn her into some virtual AI artist or something. She added, "I was confused at first, but they were so clear about one thing. There's this really cool team we're putting together, and once you join, it'll finally be complete." Even though she was completely confused by the whole situation, Youngseo still decided to trust the company and go for it. Looking back, she said it actually worked out better than she imagined. Before he even set foot on a K-pop stage, Lee Chaewon, known as Tarzzan, was already making waves, and not always for the right reasons. He'd been working as a model for years, building up an impressive resume with big names like Samsung, LG, Reebok, Calvin Klein, and Uniqlo, among others. His face has been all over major magazines too, like Vogue, GQ, and W, but even before his official introduction to the group, Chaewon was already facing backlash. He was heavily criticized for repeatedly appropriating black culture, from certain hairstyles to using ave and imitating offensive stereotypes, which sparked plenty of controversy early on. He was actually one of the first members of the group joining alongside Annie, which naturally made them close. As he explained, Chaewon grew up in South Korea but spent a short time in the US during elementary school. Being the only Asian kid in his class made him desperate to fit in, which he says sparked his early interest in hip-hop. He was drawn to artists like A$AP Rocky and Lil Wayne, who fueled his creativity and love for the genre. Chaewon has also credited his cousin, a ballerina, for encouraging him to explore contemporary dance, which played a big role in shaping his artistic dreams. From that moment on, people around him kept saying he belonged on stage, and that belief stuck with him ever since. He said, "In a way, hip-hop feels like a part of my body. It's a culture I consider to be like a part of me. That's how much respect I have for it." He compared the whole situation to having a crush, saying that's why he was hesitant and tried to handle it carefully, almost like shying away when you like someone. As expected, that part of his interview didn't sit well with most people. Chaewon never really explained how or why he ended up joining the black label, but people have filled in the blanks themselves. For starters, he was already signed to YGK+, the modeling and acting branch of YG, which pretty much narrowed his options. With YG not planning to launch a new boy group anytime soon, it made sense that the black label was his next step. On top of that, his track record of cultural appropriation, from hairstyles to his whole image, has weirdly been used to push ALLDAY Project's so-called hip-hop concept. So for the black label, having a model from their sister company who dabbles in dance and fits the image, even if it comes with controversy, probably felt like a perfect opportunity. One of the group's most talked about members is definitely Annie Moon, who's earned the title of K-pop's biggest nepo baby. Before Meow even debuted, rumors swirled that Annie would be part of the group, but when Meow finally launched and she wasn't included, fans assumed she'd still debut somewhere, maybe in a YG group or another act under the black label. So when whispers started about Teddy planning a co-ed group, Annie's name was immediately thrown into the mix, sparking plenty of buzz, and her family ties explain a lot of that attention. Annie is the granddaughter of Lee Myung-hee, chairwoman of Shinsegae, the company behind E-Mart and several luxury department stores in Korea. Going even further back, Lee Myung-hee is the fifth daughter of Samsung's founder Lee Byung-chul. That means Annie is connected to some of Korea's top business figures, including Lee Jae-yong, Samsung's current chairman, and Lee Jae-hyun, chairman of CJ Group, but her connections don't stop there. Her grandfather Moon Chung reportedly leads the KBS press headquarters, and her maternal uncle is said to be the ex-husband of Go Hyun-jung and the current vice chairman of Shinsegae, also a direct descendant of Samsung's founder. Annie's mother, Chung Yuk-young, is the president of Shinsegae. With a family net worth estimated at around $2.6 billion, it's no wonder she's often called the Samsung heiress. The biggest question people had about Annie was simple. How does someone with so much wealth, family connections, and opportunities decide to dive into the tough world of K-pop? Fans wondered why she'd trade a privileged life for endless practice sessions, waiting rooms, strict diets, and all the challenges that come with being an idol. With her resources, many thought she could easily make music on her own terms, without going through the harsh side of the industry. But for Annie, being an idol wasn't just a whim, as she explained that it was a dream she'd held onto for years. She shared that she had spent almost a decade trying to convince her family to support her passion for music and performance. This also explains why she has so many idol friends, as it seems she naturally gravitated toward people living the life she wanted. At first, her family was firmly against her dream of becoming a singer. Still, Annie didn't give up. Her mother then set one condition. If Annie could get accepted into an Ivy League university, she'd back her dreams fully. Annie rose to the challenge, earning a spot at Columbia, one of the US's prestigious Ivy League schools. Interestingly, the name Annie comes from her time living in America. After meeting that condition, her family had no choice but to support her decision. Even her mother doubted she'd make it through the rigorous training, watching her spend long days practicing dance. But Annie persevered, secured financial backing from her family, and passed her auditions, proving that despite her background, she was ready to chase her passion on her own terms. When asked why she picked the black label out of all the companies, Annie pointed to the artists her family admired, big names like Blackpink, Big Bang 21, and even Teddy's old group, One Time. She explained that whenever her family got together, those songs were always playing. Annie even shared a funny story from one of their family trips where they had so many people traveling together that they had to rent a whole tour bus. During the ride, her mom was totally hooked on Big Bang's Fantastic Baby. She played the music video nonstop on the bus TVs and got so into it that she memorized every accessory the members wore. Her family's obsession with YG artists helps explain why Annie has close ties with so many people from the Black Label and YG. Friends like CL and her sister Lee Heron, Blackpink, John Somi, choreographer Lee Jung from YGX, and even rumors about dating G-Dragon. Annie's story sparked a lot of mixed reactions online. While she probably meant it to sound relatable, many people saw it as completely out of touch. The idea that getting into an Ivy League school was a tough challenge didn't sit right with most, since after all, she has access to the best tutors, top-notch classes, and every advantage money can buy. On top of that, her family's deep ties to Columbia make it even less surprising. Her grandfather graduated from there, and it's well known that the school favors legacy admissions. Plus, Annie's sister also attended the same university, which only adds to the sense that her acceptance was pretty much a given. For many, this made her story feel less like a rebellious pursuit of her dream and more like a path laid out for her from the start, a privilege not everyone can claim. As a commenter put it, the theme of disapproving parents is relatable, but then the details take you right out. Some people got upset because they felt the Black Label was using Annie's wealth to promote the group, which turned a lot of fans off. Knowing how rich she is, even before her debut, made many doubt her genuine passion for music. Instead, it gave the impression that she's not really serious about being an artist and that this whole thing might just be a casual side project she's doing out of boredom. So what's your take on their debut? Do you see this group going all the way or not? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for tuning in.